I'm bipolar and didn't tell anyone that for a long time until one of my students wouldn't get treatment for depression because she wanted to keep it a secret. And so I said, well, this is something that happened to me, and getting treatment made it better. And when she said I didn't know that, and I said, well, I don't tell people, then I realized what corner I just backed myself into. And so she said, well, why should I do something you won't? And alcoholism is often tied to bipolar. And in the process of recovery from alcoholism is when I started to really see this concept of anything you try to commit to for the rest of your life is really intimidating. If I asked you, I want you to promise me you will do this one thing every day for the rest of your life, nobody feels confident making that commitment. But if you say, can you do it today? And what you learn in recovery is if you don't want to have a drink for the rest of your life, you choose not to have a drink today. And that's all you worry about, is today. Because tomorrow is terrifying, and 2 years from now is terrifying. And the nice thing about treating every day like it's day one of your recovery is that if you screw up, everybody screws up on their first day. It doesn't mean you're not worthy of the mission, it means you have to recommit to it, not restart, recommit. And if you have done it every day for 10 years, none of that matters if you didn't do it today. And that started to work its way into a lot of what I talked about. I've said, okay, this is what I've been teaching here to students. And then this concept, this day one thing, this idea of day one of any voyage has an inherent commitment, humility, and forgiveness to it. And so day one is when you say, these are the non-negotiable behaviors on whatever voyage you're on, to health, to mental health, to your leadership. And my argument is day one of your leadership is saying, here's what I actually want to define me as a person, and here's a plan to live up to it. And then you simply recommit to that every day. And when you screw up and you go home and you didn't pass the test, all right, try again tomorrow. I try not to do that with my drinking. But ultimately, if you did it, okay, that's great. Now you have to recommit to doing it again. And I think if you string enough of those days together, 300 out of 365 days a year of answering those questions, you can't argue. You just can't argue that you're acting as a leader. You can't ignore what it is. And really, it's all about giving people the answer to one really important question. I can't help it. Hi, how are you? Why do you matter? Has anyone asked you that question before?
No.
Yeah, that is a problem. Like, I came from the education system. None of my students have been asked that question. First person I ever asked said, I don't yet. That's why I'm working so hard. And so the whole idea is we do not give ourselves evidence that we matter, or we ignore the evidence that we matter. And we hope to matter, and we hope to lead, and we hope to make a difference. And I, honest to God, just want to give people a way to plan to matter, and plan to lead, and plan to make a difference. And that's kind of the big piece, is like, why do you matter? How is it that people in their 20s, 30s, sometimes in their 50s have never been asked that question? Like, that's a fundamental failure of our education system. And I mean, if you got kids, I always tell people, go home and ask your kids that question. Because if they're under 5, the answers they give, people email me about them all the time. Well, when they're so awesome. They don't even understand, like, they're just, because I do. My favorite was one woman sent me a video of her son being like, because I'm a hug monster. And then the camera goes black, right? Like, but once our kids are 5, we send them to school, and it all changes, right? Like, it's now you don't decide why you matter. It's up to other people to determine. And that, to me, is something that we have to unlearn, and I think this helps.